Hey guys, so this next series that I'm going to go into here, now there is information coming out on the accounts. I'm going to keep trying to update that information as it does come out. I know everybody's very anxious to, get these accounts figured out. But as I've said before, and I'll say again, the accounts are not simply about the money. The accounts are about the deception that's been pulled over all of the Americans, and not even just the Americans, but the people around the world. So I am going to continue to update you on those accounts. Um, Everybody does have to also understand that these accounts are still very new to everybody, and we are still trying to figure out the proper methods and the best methods to access them. But I don't want to simply be another one of those guys that are standing here and pushing you to um, use these accounts to pay your bills, and that's all that this movement is about, because it's not. This movement is about what's right, what's wrong, crimes that have been committed against us. Um, and the best way to do that is to try to help educate you guys on the history of all of this. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. I've had a lot of subscribers and viewers asking for other countries' methods, which I was working on and am still working on, and am going to be putting out videos on. Um, but I also want to make sure that I'm also taking the time to keep moving in the right direction with this whole movement, because the best thing that anybody can have is to be educated on the real history, on what really went down. That way they know how to fight it. I know there's probably going to be some people upset that I'm not simply putting out whatever, new recipes or new methods. Um, and I'm sorry if that happens. But I personally don't think that is the entire point here. I think the point is to combat the crimes that have been committed against us. And I don't want to lose sight of that. I don't want to just be pushing, okay, resubmit your bills if they're reversed, and I don't think that that's going to solve anything. This is all information that is easily accessed right now, and I want to get you the stuff that maybe you haven't known how to go and find or thought to look for. My channel, and our channel, I should say, is about truth, and that's what I want to put out there, is truth. I am going to, again, continue giving you guys updates as they come out, and there is a lot of different websites and different YouTube channels that are claiming this or they're claiming that, but then I'm going to be honest with you, when I go to try to do something and it doesn't work, or if I read something and it doesn't seem like it's a wise decision legally, that it could have serious ramifications, I'm not going to be that guy that's telling you to do that. I don't want anybody to make fake credit cards or print up checks and then end up getting arrested for that. I would rather wait and make sure that the people who have done that have done so and not had any legal ramifications. I don't want to be responsible for pushing anybody in the wrong direction. So morally, that's the path I'm trying to go down. So with that, I'm going to start, and this is going to be, I mean, you see how many tabs are open on my browser right now? There's a lot of information, and it's going to take some time. So with that, I mean, it's literally going to probably be like maybe 1 or 2 tabs per video, because that's how much needs to be talked about here. So this is kind of just a brief intro to what I'm about to do for you guys. I'm going to go, way back. I want to explain to you how the gold standard was stolen and how the American citizens' real value was stolen from them. I want to explain how the Federal Reserve Act was actually established and how this private bank gained so much power over us, how they bankrupted us intentionally to do so. I want to go into the assassinations of any major politicians that were going to combat them or dissolve them. There's a lot of new people who have just been awoken by this whole thing, and I think that it's important that they get some of the same information that some of the people who have been awake for a while, I should say, have already received. And I'm sure the people that were already awake might find some new facts through this. And I know, even being myself, that when I have information that I've already seen, I actually like to go through and see that information from, a different point of view or a different perspective. And I know a lot of the truthers out there are, we're all very similar. We love information, and we love to really know what really transpired. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do here for you guys. I will, again, be putting out videos with updates, but I'm not, as you saw with the Airship Bank, there was a lot of people that were pushing everybody to that, and I read everything, I saw everything, and there is updates on that, by the way. It changed yet again today. And I'm going to make a video on it, but I also am having some problems with YouTube, so some of my videos are taking longer to, I don't know if you saw the 3 I put out yesterday were actually from the day before. I was having a problem where they were locking them on me. So, yeah. With that, I'm going to kind of get to it. Now, I'm not going to go in chronological order necessarily. I'm going to cover topics, and maybe I can then sort them in a playlist in chronological order at a later date. But I'm going to start with this. This is actually, even though it's what the establishment wants put out, obviously from the History Channel, it is a good source for this reason. When they put stuff out, they put some truth with some vague deceit, okay? And then, like, for instance, this day in history, I'm going to show you at the end something very interesting that you guys might actually maybe never knew before, and it may really kind of make you go, whoa. Okay, so 1933, on June 5th, 1933, the United States went off the gold standard, a monetary system in which currency is backed by gold, when Congress enacted a joint resolution nullifying the right of its creditors to demand payment in gold. The United States had been on a gold standard since 1879, except for an embargo on gold exports during World War I. But bank failures during the Great Depression of the 1930s frightened the public into hoarding gold, making the policy untenable. Okay, so basically, we were on the gold standard, and then there was an embargo during World War I. And the Great Depression, which I later in this, I guess you would say, series, will go into how the Great Depression was intentionally caused by the Federal Reserve and the international banks to stranglehold us. And it wasn't just us, actually. It affected the world. But, so with this, basically Roosevelt ended up signing this law. And it stated that the American citizens had to turn in anything over $100 in value of their gold. So any coins, any bullion, any certificates, anything. Now, pretty much what they did was they robbed the American citizens because they bought the gold for $20.67 per ounce, okay? And that was on May 1st. That's when they set that price. By May 10th, the government had taken $300 million of gold coin and $470 million of gold certificates. And then 2 months later, the joint resolution of Congress abrogated the gold clauses in many public and private obligations that required the debtor to repay the creditor in gold dollars of the same weight and finesses as they borrowed. In 1934, so basically a year later, the government price of gold was increased to $35 per ounce. So they basically boosted their gains significantly. They stole everybody's gold. They gave them these, I'm going to have to swear on this just because I have to. They gave them bullshit, funny money, paper, that you could wipe your rear with. And then they ended up boosting the price of gold once they've taken everybody's gold. Okay? And you got to understand that that was the Federal Reserve that ended up benefiting from that. Okay? The government held a $35 per ounce price until August 15, 1971, when President Richard Nixon announced that the United States would no longer convert dollars to gold at a fixed value, thus completely abandoning the gold standard. In 1974, President Gerald Ford signed legislation permitting Americans to once again hold gold bullion. So, by this law that he had created, he basically stole everybody's gold, handed them, worthless paper, okay, and then created a law that made it so your average American could not own gold that exceeded a value of $100. Now, going down, on the same day, okay, that this is to show you, because these elitists, the Illuminati, okay, it's not just the Illuminati, they have many names, but that's just the most commonly known. So on the same day in history, okay, that's why I was saying that this is very interesting. You also have where was it? Union routes, rebels, Battle of Piedmont. Bobby Kennedy was assassinated. Okay. Robert Kennedy was assassinated. Ronald Reagan dies. And as I was speaking about with Nixon, how Nixon was mentioned in that article, Nixon ended up completely taking the gold standard away. Now, Nixon also was trying to combat the Federal Reserve at first, which is what led to the Watergate scandal. And I'm really beginning to think that his removal of the gold standard completely, which ended up being the reason why oil started shooting up drastically, may have been a save face, or to save his life, maybe. As a last-ditch effort, he knew he was basically being pushed out of office. But as we saw with John F. Kennedy, maybe his life was threatened, and he was told if he didn't do, what they wanted him to do, that he would have been killed. So this is another good article. If you guys get a chance, I'll leave this in the link description box. This is going to be part of another little group of videos I'm going to do going over some of the presidents that were killed and disgraced, etc., that were working on combating the Federal Reserve. Now, as I was talking about with the day in history, okay, guys, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and most importantly, share. Much love to you guys, and God bless.